the best of it. Hey, it is rolling out AM, the wake up call.
The sun is shining, nice and bright. The birds are chirping,
and I'm ready to fly.
Time to get ready
for another day.
No one can stop us. We gon' learn to play. Every day we learn and play.
We do our best, so we'll be great.
You do your best,
and I do mine.
So let's get ready. Cause it's about that time. Good morning, you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning, time to be great. Good morning, time to wake. Good morning,
dance and play.
Good morning,
so start to say.
Good morning, open your eyes. Good morning,
reach for the sky.
Good morning to you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning to you. Good morning, how do you do?
Good morning.
You see me on my grind.
Woo. Stars got to shine.
I'm a supernova.
Yeah, you see me taking over. Yeah,
I'm on the move. I got a way to shine to it. So let me hear you say,
every day we gonna work, play. Hey. Rolling out AM. It is the wake up call. I'm Munchkin Steve, and we've got Cass in the city and Romeo International, and of course A.R. Shaw and the first King James. And welcome. We love you. We are glad you can join. We've got that beauty and excellent editor. It is Ty Cooper.
Hey.
Welcome everybody. How y'all doing?
Hey, what's happening?
Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Twitter. You know, you guys are glowing today. I get it. The box is going on, and everybody has a story to tell. What's going on with you, Romeo?
Man, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. We made it to the next day. Ty's here. AR's here. The whole squad's here. We about to have some fun today. King James got some heat. Cassidy got some more sunshine. Ty, I just don't know. Ty just over there glowing in all her melanin. What's the? I need a big word, King James.
You got it, melanin. That's good. That's good enough.
I apologize. Okay, melanin.
Bro, I can't help you. I can't help you shoot your shot.
Oh, geez.
It's too early, but we here, man. Rollingout.com. Good morning, everybody, man.
No, that's right. I was sitting there thinking about all this good stuff that's going on, and everybody's trying to figure out what they're going to do. I'm having such a wonderful summer. What you doing over there, A.R. Shaw? I know you over there trapping something.
Man, it's crazy, man, because, around this time, man, me and you, we usually on the road, hitting up different cities, and making sure that we telling the story of Black people nationwide. But now we got to kind of be confined to our homes and still tell the story. So it's different for us because it's a different move. Not on the plane every week, but we definitely want to keep the story going. So it's just a different adjustment to summer because I'm used to when it comes to summer, I'm used to the festivals. I'm used to hitting different things across the country. This is where Black people come out to play, man. And it's an adjustment for all of us to not be able to experience these moments during the summer. So we just still trying to stay focused in this thing and stay safe. So that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing over here.
Yeah. What's your favorite summertime jam, Ty?
When you said that, it's so funny because the first thing that came to mind was Will Smith's "Summertime."
Right. Yeah. I was jamming to that right then when he was talking about summer. I said, I got some hits, in my head. Right. I started thinking about that. Jazzy Jeff. We still waiting for him to come on the show, AR. He had the COVID.
And Ty here, I thought it was City Girls. I thought you was going back to your old days. My fault. I'm sorry.
No. I can't do that. No, I can't turn up like that. I'm trying to be Well, I am trying to be quarantine fine though. Okay, so let's just get that.
You're not gonna add 20 times. You're not gonna add 20 to be quarantine.
No.
20.
I'm taking away 20. How about that? Yeah.
I've done that for sure. Cass, what's your favorite for the summer? What jam?
I don't know that I have a favorite. It's definitely like certain vibes. Drake, obviously, Beyonce, it's always for me. Summer vibes.
Which hit? I want to know a hit. I want to listen to it today.
I don't know. Like, I was thinking about Controlla was a big one that I really liked. That was like a good summer a while back, but I don't know. I mean, it's always like a good beat, get you hyped, but like you said, we just gotta do our playlist in the house this year.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not thinking about it.
Before I Let Go is one from
All
Beyonce.
right, go ahead, hit that.
Well, you gotta shout out Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Well, yeah,
they're the original.
yeah.
Okay.
True
Yeah.
True that. I like both versions.
You know what? You know what's so crazy? You know, like when you listen to songs, you don't really understand like the meaning behind songs. It took me a long time to like realize that this Frankie Beverly Maze song, Before I Let Go, is a breakup song. It's really a sad song. Like if you listen to the lyrics, it's about
With a
breakup.
good beat. It's a sad song with a good beat.
True, it does say
It's
Before I Let
a
Go.
breakup song. He's like, before I let you go. It's like,
Okay,
it's the
now we're
end of the
talking
road.
about
It's
having
just too happy,
summertime vibes, and you are trying to let us down right now. Like,
I'm
don't do
just
that.
saying, like I listen to
do
lyrics.
It's like the
I'm
cookout
yo,
anthem.
There.
Right.
Hold up,
Before I
now.
Let Go.
Y'all not look, Megan Thee Stallion and City Girls. Y'all not about to gang up on AR this morning, okay?
Wait.
I gave you
I
enough
don't
on
know.
your
I
mother
thought
said.
you were gonna go to a little bit of Summer Walker. That's what I thought. We used to be in the
Oh,
car.
definitely love
going
Summer
to-
Walker all the time.
But
I don't necessarily think she's like a summer vibe, but I love her music.
yeah,
she's all the
I don't
time.
know. I'm on Sissa for sure. I'm
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
listening to
Oh
her,
yeah.
kind of get through any of that,
Mhm.
and then Anderson .Paak. So I think that's cool. Scott, Ty, did you do your census?
Of
you fill out the
course.
census? How
But
about
of
you,
course.
man?
Of course, man. The census is important, man, because that's how we're counted. That's how the funding gets, takes place. So we encourage every person, every Black person, to fill out the census, man. That's definitely important. You got to do it.
I loved it. King James, what's your favorite for the summer?
I
It's gonna
roll.
be good.
Tupac.
No. I mean, it's just simple, man. You know what I'm saying? I roll with Will Smith. I mean, I've been listening to that thing for 25 years now. And I roll with some old Moni Love. This is version of Moni in the Middle that is just dope. And I just listen to it when I get to get myself up. So I listen to a lot of early to mid 90s, the golden age of hip hop music, dance music, when it was fun and it was revolutionary at the same time. So I like to listen to a lot of fast up-tempo hip hop, such as, like, of course, Tupac and, It's All About You, the same old, in every city. That song is dope. And then I Get Around, So, I like to listen to some of that. And then Moni Love, of course. It's a Shame. That's the one. It's a Shame. That remix is so dope. And it gets me up every day. Yeah, it's so dope. I have to play it for you one time. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely dope. So, yeah, I go back to the mid 90s, man, for my get up in the morning.
Get up in the morning.
What do you guys think is the summer? They're going to be like the song of the summer, or the album of the summer this year. Like what's the vibe this year? I know we got a lot of stuff going on.
People
Pop
are
Smoke.
vibing to Pop Smoke right now.
Yeah, Pop Smoke is like
Wait a minute.
he's on fire right now.
Wait. Hold on. Your girl's already done died out. What's her name? Megan Thee Stallion? Savage is already dead?
I don't think it's died out. I don't know. I mean, it came early. I don't know. We still have to see the summer. We still have August. We just got to see. I think people are still obviously going to play Savage remix, but we just got to see.
I don't know, man. That new song, that new song Entanglement, man. That joint is just bumping, man. Like right now, I think it's like #1 on the charts and stuff, man.
Nasty.
Entanglement is.
Oh,
I know.
Erykah Badu's Entanglement is sold out.
Hey, ain't it? It's sold out. Like it's
sold
what
out?
it's Man,
Yeah,
Ty,
yeah.
Ty, you better get you some entanglement. It's the
I'm
hottest thing
straight.
right now.
Yeah. Not everybody has the taste for that type of entanglement
Right.
that Erica Badu is offering. I mean, she took it to the next level. So, yeah.
As only she can do. As only she can do.
Yeah. I could
Right.
imagine somebody,
Sure.
I could imagine the scent of somebody's house lighting that one on fire.
You know what? I'm gonna place an order just so on the morning show, just so
No.
that we can do a
Don't do
smell test.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Please don't.
I think that's wonderful,
Oh.
guys. We got so much going on, and everybody is so entangled in this nonsensical conversation about Will and then the worst is to talk to somebody and they start talking about it like it just happened yesterday. You're like, it's a little old,
It is
Right.
old now.
Get over it. Like, it's moved on. I think we've got to move on because it's getting ready to
Agree.
happen.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So what are your summer plans, Ty? I know you got something. I know you're trying something.
No, like I said, trying to stay quarantine fine over here. And that's some work by itself because
Yeah.
ladies, we try and make sure our hair is still looking right, our skin is still glowing, of course. And then I'm gonna be very transparent here, but like these press-ons right now, like
Oh
y'all
my
see these
gosh.
press-ons, like this is like number one. Like if you have not gotten any press-ons, ladies, I'm telling you right now.
What's the brand, Ty? What's the brand? Because I had some and it was popping off left and right. And I was like, I can't do this.
We had
Okay,
to do
so-
the press on competition, like we need to do a press on competition.
We got to do something because they come in different styles,
Yeah, they
shapes,
do.
sizes now. They're only
It's
like
the
$5
strength.
to
They gotta
$10.
be strong.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
competition. Who in this
Gotta test
competition?
the strength because mine were
yeah, you
literally
got to test
coming
the
off.
strength. But you know
like,
what,
left and
Cassidy?
right.
I found out that it's not actually the brand because all of the styles are super hot, like so
Mhm.
incredible. And Kiss has some really good ones.
Yeah,
But the most important thing is the glue.
the glue.
So we need to do a glue competition.
That's what it
a
is. Okay,
bomb.
so the
Glue.
glue is better than the stickers
Oh,
because the
It's the-
stickers were not working for me.
yeah, the
See,
glue is
Munson, we didn't know that. We didn't even know it was the glue. It's the
Yeah, I
glue.
know the glue.
Telling you, it's the glue.
It's the glue that to
It's the
keep
glue.
everything together. Right. So
I
yeah.
know. I need to go get me some ASAP because
Right.
a mess.
Oh, well, then I'm going to go
Just
get me some
little.
glue then. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Oh.
everybody just go out and get some glue.
Right.
And just order some in the mail. Order it in the mail. That is definitely it. Todd Cooper, Cassidy, thanks for the insight. For all those who are out there, have fun. Show us your Facebook nails and hair. But we're going to have to figure out a competition, Romeo, for all those who are there. I think it's a wonderful thing that you're staying at home, figuring out how to create your own beauty shop. Have you been wearing a mask? Have you put on any mask, facial mask?
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny
Every
that you
day.
say that because like when you wear makeup, the mask is like the worst enemy because you have like this shape going around your face from
You
the
can't
makeup.
wear any lip gloss. You can't wear any lipstick.
Right.
It's a mess. And then if
So-
you're sweating, it's causing maskne,
Yeah.
new acne,
Yeah.
all the sweat.
Right around here.
Gross.
Yeah. It's pretty bad, but still stay moisturize your skin and your lips. So, but yeah, we're
But I'm
masking
wearing
up.
off. I am wearing off. That is what I'm wearing right now.
That too.
Because when I go out,
Mosquitoes are out.
I'm telling you, these mosquitoes are getting really dangerous.
Aggressive.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
aggressive. You know,
They're very disrespectful right now.
Oh man,
Very.
like, like what? You coming for me? Like,
Here's
I
the beautiful part. Here's the beautiful part, Ty. I'm loving your conversation so much because me and Amir are really sitting here like, yeah, the mask and our makeup. Like we
Not even
Like, we
though,
sitting
just
here-
like
yeah,
if
that's
you're
a-
wearing a mask and you're out and you're sweating, like it's just like sitting on your face and then you're breathing. It's just like, like it can cause bacteria on your skin. Like
I just love the conversation. I didn't know. Like
It's
y'all
the same
telling
as
us.
wearing like a
But you
football
know,
helmet.
the
You know,
thing
guys
is,
break
It's
out
struggle.
the sweat.
First of all, dudes don't have on makeup and a football helmet, Cassie.
No,
So
I
it's
didn't
not
say
the
that. I'm
same.
saying you
Now some
sweat.
do. Now
I
some
didn't say
do.
anything about makeup. I said if you're sweating and you're wearing a helmet, a lot of
Uh-huh.
guys have acne due to that sweat, like clogging their pores and stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Stay with it. Stay with
Yeah,
it,
it don't have
Romeo.
anything to do with
Don't come for
makeup.
Cass. Don't come for Cass. Look,
Saying.
I'm learning.
Everybody-
We learning. I'm learning. I'm all ears.
And it's good to take the time just to pamper yourself and cleanse your skin.
And Ty, he talking about, he hit me up about exfoliating, so I don't even know what he's talking about because he asked me about facial exfoliants. So
Now
we know
I got.
he's
You know what?
focused on
Rolling Out
skincare.
Rolling Out AM, I will be very transparent. As
Okay.
Ty said, Cass is a freaking genius. Cass got me exfoliating. I'm B5ing. I'm glowing. Like, yeah, that's all because of Cass in the city. Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
anything about B5, but he definitely was like, I want to exfoliate. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. It's vitamins for your skin, Ty. That's what I learned from Cass in the city. So don't look at me strange, Amir. I'm just saying, I'm trying to glow too.
I'm down with the skincare, bro.
Yeah, go.
I
Man. Hey, Romeo, go ahead, man, and floss that metrosexualism. Go ahead, man. We got you.
It's all about, everybody got to take care of themselves. Got to take care of your
I don't know
skin.
the brothers that do that are metrosexual. That don't even sound good.
That's what I'm saying.
Manscaping.
Self-care is critical. Like we shouldn't even be shaming brothers. Oh, don't
No.
exfoliate.
The skin is the largest organ on the
you know
body.
you gone by that brother
Very
and don't even
important.
have no lotion in his pocket and elbows is so gray. And you like, dude, that's not ash, that's dirt. You know, got that spot on his face and you thought it was a mold, then it starts to fall off. That's mud. You know, man, come on, man.
King James, why would you say that? Oh goodness,
No.
I taught you some lessons.
No. I wasn't denigrating him. I was telling him to go ahead and floss and flex his thing. You know what I'm saying? Do him.
No, brothers don't call brothers metrosexual. Ain't nobody brought down. That was some European that was selling. This is what brothers are. Brothers are just taking care of themselves. They ain't thinking like that. We ain't pointing them groups because that's the skinny leg pants, super skinny. You know.
Yeah, and I know.
Just take care of yourself. That's all that matters.
Self-care.
Ain't no shame in taking care of yourself. Okay.
Ain't none at all. I mean, it's a good thing to wash your behind. Good.
You over here talking about washing your face.
Right.
All right. Cass in the city, why don't you tell us what's up?
Well, speaking of skincare, since we just ended on that note, perfect transition. Rihanna is launching Fenty Skin, her skincare brand, the end of the month, July 31st. So we're super excited for that. I'm a huge Rihanna fan. She's taken over beauty business, Fenty Beauty, and everything. So we're really looking forward to that. She put out a promo on her Instagram. So FentySkin.com, head over there on July 31st to pick up your skincare needs. Up next, we have.
We want the photo.
There she goes. She did a whole little promo. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm definitely going to check it out and see what products she has to offer. So up next, we have Tyra Banks, who is, obviously iconic supermodel. She is going to be executive producing and hosting Dancing with the Stars in the upcoming season as they're looking for a creative refresh. So we'll see how this goes. A lot of people were saying, comparing her to America's Next Top Model and how harsh she was and everything on there. So we'll see how this goes. I think she's going to bring a different vibe. So I'm looking forward to that. Up next, we have actress Viola Davis on the cover of Vanity Fair magazine. This is very historic right here, this cover, because this is the first cover for Vanity Fair where a Black photographer was hired in their over 100-year existence. This is a really, really big deal. Very crazy that they've existed for this long without a Black photographer to, you know, shoot for the cover. So his name is Dario Calmese. So shout out to Dario Calmese. In his interview, he talked about, you know, kind of his inspiration and, you know, looking at the backs of slaves. I know, Terry, you know about this. You know, there was like an iconic photo where they showed, you know, it's of the back of a slave and it's, you know, the whip marks on his back. So he kind of took this and, you know, showed her back in this kind of same, that was his inspiration, you know, to show the beauty, you know, in that pain. So this was a big deal.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. But
I
you
really
gotta refer
hope
to
they
me as
have
King
more.
James on this show.
Oh, I'm so sorry, King James. Please forgive me. Up next, we have birthdays. Actor Forrest Whitaker is turning 58 years old today. Shout out to him. Comedian Eddie Griffin turns 51 years old today. And shout out to one of our Facebook fans out there, Lizzie Germain. It's her birthday. And happy birthday to everyone else who's joined us.
We got balloons, yeah. The cake is on the way. We got the music playing, cause it's your holiday. We invited family, and everybody came. I strike a pose for me like you in a picture frame. You got your finest clothes on, and $1 million smile. So we gon' celebrate you for a while. And don't forget we got the candles when you away. Then don't forget we got the candles. Happy birthday, gonna celebrate you for a while. Candles, blowing you away. Wait. Candles. Happy birthday, happy girl.
So happy birthday
Shout
to all
out to
those.
everyone whose birthday it
Happy
is.
birthday.
Hey, Lizzie. She says, thank you, Cass. I really do appreciate it rolling out.
No problem. Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, it's a beautiful day for a birthday. Happy birthday. I hope you have lots of candles and lots of presents. But stay home. Now, they got party apps. I mean, literally party apps, you know. I passed by my neighbor and they still had to sign up for the graduation. It's been up 2 months.
Why not? Just
Let
keep
it
it up.
go.
Celebrate.
Baby didn't walk. The baby didn't walk, so you know. At least see the sign.
Oh, we about to jump into the Rolling Out Social Report. I am Romeo International. Wherever you go, I'ma go. Hey, get your boy. AR King James, get your boy. Terry Crews jumps on Twitter and says, defund Pornhub. Fight the new drug. First of all, leave Pornhub alone. That's number one. They ain't doing that too. But number two, if it's attention you want, brother, just say you want attention, because that's not the route. So let's figure out how we can all help Terry Crews get his life back together, because clearly somebody's not stopping him from this train wreck that he's on. But let's leave Pornhub alone. Next on the docket, Gina Prince Bodywood. She directed The Old Guard, is now the new director for Woman King, which is going to star Viola Davis. See that transition to Viola Davis. Now, you can actually check out my interview with her talking about The Old Guard, her and Kiki Lane on rollingout.com. She is great. She is dope. Make sure you watch The Old Guard. And I love Gina. Next.
But hold on. Before you go, I think it's important to mention that she directed the classic Love and Basketball, so we can identify her.
Let's add that to the table.
Yes.
Love and Basketball.
Classic.
Yeah.
And last but not least, one of Cassie's favorite people, Beyonce wins legal battle in trademarking Blue Ivy's name. Now, here's the question. When you got to trademark your daughter's name, like your daughter, where is society right now that I got to make sure that my daughter has her name to herself? People, get y'all life
I might
together.
be using it for a business in the future.
I mean, I'm with you, but I'm just saying, leave the little girl alone. Leave Pornhub
Yeah.
alone. And shout out to the female Black directors. I'm loving it, man, in the world.
Yeah.
And that's the social report, man.
Hey, I'm about to trademark King
man.
James. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? King James is mine.
There you go.
Listen, trademark it is a way. If y'all look at in my background, it's 2 trademarks on my wall right there. So yes
Hello.
to Beyonce, yes to Blue Ivy. It is all about making sure if you do have a business that it is legal. So she is all within her parameters to protect her, her family, and her daughter. In the event she wants to later, her daughter wants to later say, you know what? I want a company that is named after me. Because as we all know, or if you don't know, trademarking it's essential right now, especially when you're trying to form any type of entity or business. So yes to Beyonce. And also let me go back real quick because I'm going to say yes also to Terry Crews. So he is not the only one, okay, that's trying to shut down this Pornhub stuff, but I'm going to get off of my train right now, okay, and just say, go Terry Crews, I'm with you.
Well, no, we gotta see the thing about Terry. You gotta watch Terry every move he makes. So the thing about Terry, he was addicted to porn. He talked about himself being addicted to porn. So I guess this is his way of, you know, talking about, I guess, putting his addiction out there. But yeah, he was addicted to porn, and he talked about that in different interviews. But the stuff that he's been saying about Black Lives Matter and Black supremacy, I hate that he coined that phrase because I saw that phrase so many times last night, and we're going to get to that later on in Terry's report. But there's no such thing as Black supremacy. Never has. It never has been. As long as we're in this position in America, it never will be Black supremacy. So no shout out to Terry Crews.
Yeah. I can't get his back either. This is a man that has been endorsed and sanctioned by the people that write his checks, the Caucasians. He's not operating in the best interest of the African American, and he's not trying to advance. He's trying to keep people quiet. He's the same type of person that when Dr. King came to town, he was like, man, stop stirring up stuff in my city. Things are good for me. And be quiet. Don't worry about what's going on around here. Stop being a rabble rouser. See, they wanted to stop King. He's one of those Black that tried to stop King. So, he don't get my endorsement. Yeah. Even though he's trying to address his own addiction, he needs to go ahead and worry about that and leave the rest of that stuff alone.
Yeah, he just needs to rebuke that. He needs to rebuke that part of his life, which he's trying to do. And he needs to reconsider some other things in his life that he's trying to do.
All right, AR, what's happening? What's next?
Let's get it. Where we at first, people? What's going on?
They deleted it.
The power, but they deleted it. They were trying to delete the knowledge, man. You can't delete the knowledge. That's what we need this knowledge, man. We need this. People need this information. There we go. All right, so we're gonna get into the chief. We're gonna play this clip, and then we're gonna kind of have a quick discussion. Let's play this clip.
Was a terrible thing. Terrible. Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. What a terrible question to ask. So are white people. More white people, by the way. More white people.
Floyd's death was a terrible thing.
Terrible.
Yeah, so of course that was our current U.S. president, of course, Donald J. Trump, and he's basically just taking his sides of where he stands when it comes to race in America. I don't think he has an agenda. I don't think he has a plan. I think his plan is to side with white supremacy because he knows that he can stoke the fears of white people in America, and a lot of them will vote for him just because he is the white supremacist president. And I think he's comfortable with that, and I think he's going to play his role until November. I think that's what he's going to be because he doesn't really have an agenda. He doesn't have a plan. His plan is really just to side with the most racist views that's possible. So yeah, he's a plot.
Yeah, he's a classic case of a demagogue. He appeals to the lowest common denominator of the human spirit. And so he basically is creating division, which will help shore up his base and hopefully expand his base in order to get reelection. He does not care who is killed in the process. So therefore, he wants to back up the schools so he can open up back up the economy. And if the economy is rolling, he believes that he can earn enough votes to get reelected. So
Right.
if there's any casualties in the process, you are just considered collateral damage, white and black people. He cares about no one. He cares about reelection. He is a narcissist, and that is a classic case of a demagogue at work.
Hey man, I watched this whole thing yesterday. I watched majority of it. When I tell you, AR, I literally choked on what I was eating because throughout this whole interview, Cass, like the man said a point and then turned around to denounce the point that he had just said. Like, yeah, kids, COVID is a terrible thing, but kids should go back to school. Huh? What? That don't make sense, sir.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
hey, man.
yeah, I mentioned that yesterday. That's the classic case of obfuscate, where you say rhetoric and assert policies that are designed to confuse the masses. And his plan is working.
Right.
People are totally confused.
People are totally.
We definitely gonna stay on him. But the next versus battle, man, I'm kind of excited about this. DMX versus Snoop. Now
That's gonna be a good one.
yeah, versus announced yesterday that DMX and Snoop will battle. The battle will take place. This the battle of the dogs. So you have DMX who's definitely repping for Yonkers, New York, and Snoop Dogg from the LBC. So it's a East Coast, West Coast type thing. They have two different vibes. I think Snoop, because his catalog is so extensive, I don't really think that anybody. It's not too many rappers who can really match Snoop, song for song. But I think it'll be interesting just because of their personalities. But I think from the you talk about 20 songs, I think Snoop's catalog is just too deep for DMX, and I definitely think Snoop will take this one. What do you guys think about this battle? This versus
I
battle?
agree. I think it's gonna be good, but I definitely agree. Like, I know way more Snoop songs. Like, definitely has, I think, more popular songs. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think popular. I think. Yeah, go ahead, Romy.
No, I was saying, give me DMX.
Yeah, I'm taking DMX on this one too, man, because this stuff is just, dynamic. And he's a record-breaking rapper because he's one of only a few rappers to have multiple albums at number one, something that Snoop has never accomplished. But even though that Snoop is more popular and he's more of a cultural icon, DMX stuff is just like deep and multi-layered, multifaceted, and it covers a lot of socio-political issues. Even though he's a troubled young man, well, not a young man, but he's a troubled man, but he is extremely talented. So I'm with DMX on this one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty.
I think that you said something when you said he's a troubled man, because I think that's my fear about it. Like, I would love to see them battle it out the right way, right? And, play all the hits and stuff like that. But I'm also, in the back of my mind, concerned about DMX really coming and bringing his whole self to the table, right? So we can really hear a good battle. Because if DMX doesn't have anybody helping him, it's going to be, we'll see a battle, all right?
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I think it'll be definitely interesting. Like, I think this one will be a little different than the other battles we've seen. I think
this one will be
dynamic will be
this
different.
one will be deeper. This one will be grimier. This one will be more street. It definitely will be entertaining. And pop culture is going to be behind Snoop because he's successfully transcended the hip hop world, and he's recognized all over the globe. Whereas DMX is basically American based. So it'll definitely be interesting.
Yeah, I think.
A point to King James, though. I will say this as a DJ. A point to King James, though. There's a different reaction when a DMX song comes on and a Snoop song comes on.
Oh, for sure.
DMX song comes on in the club, goes crazy. Snoop comes on, it's expected, if that makes sense.
I don't know.
Snoop
I don't know. So the thing is this: if you play "Down for My Ends" that's definitely a banger. Snoop. You play that to this day. Drop It Like It's Hot. So Snoop has some club bangers where you can like just ride out the Snoop like, and even that song Snoop Dogg. Like Snoop has something for every category of rap.
What? What was the move?
Snoop Dogg, yeah.
Snoop Dogg. I don't know. I just my thing is this. I think DMX had he had a good 3-year run from like 98 to 2000. DMX had like a good 3-year run. And I think he kind of like fizzled out after that. He kind of went into acting a little bit. But I think Snoop was just so consistent for the last 25 years. I'm just like, I just don't, the catalog is just too extensive.
Yeah. They're different caliber, but I definitely believe that they both belong in the Hall of Fame of hip hop. When that gets created, they both should be first ballot because DMX provided and contributed something to hip hop that very few other artists have. And I thought, back in 2000 that he was going the route of Tupac because the stuff was so deep and so angry. But you know what I'm saying? But his life got intercepted by the turbulence in his personal life and in his mind.
Right.
So he's raging war with his mind and society. So it caught up with him. And plus he couldn't lay off the nasal boogers. So
I'm gonna give you go ahead, Ty.
No, I was just gonna say that DMX had some real bangers. You could feel the passion and aggression in his music. So even though it was like a certain amount of time and Snoop has maybe been out there a little longer, I still feel like DMX's song like really spoke to you. Even when he was on that song with Cisco and he was naming out like all of our names, like
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. If you remember, this
what they want.
This is where Amir gets the L. Right. This is where Amir gets the L. I'm glad you said that, Ty. Just recently, months ago, y'all remember that song went viral on TikTok because all celebrities, all young people were actually recreating that song and those females in the song. So technically, DMX has a one-up because he actually has the younger generation. If they remember anything, they remember that one song.
Exactly. And also, too, shout out. Okay. And also, too, shout out because, I know we've been talking even a little bit about some troubles that he was going through mentally, personally. So shout out because it is Minority Mental Health Month. So shout out to that, people getting their health and checked up on as well. So hopefully he's gotten the help that he needs. But yeah, let's all be supportive like we have been. But I think it's gonna be an amazing battle. But I think I got DMX. Yeah.
It's definitely just based upon the discussion that we've had right here. It's going to be off the chain when they actually sit down and do this, and they're able to go through their catalogs. It's going to be off the chain. So
so the thing about the versus battles, like we can all like have our concepts of what's going to happen, but it's really how each artist, which songs they play and how they match up. That's very important. Like which songs they pick and how they their list. Because you can have a great list and then you don't play the right song at the right time. That's what happened with Nelly. When Nelly went against Ludacris, Nelly didn't really play his song, the right song at the right time. It was just like he kind of lost because of that. So
he was too busy. He was too busy posing. Trying to flex,
But the real battle is always battle of the internet. Whose Wi-Fi is better?
Yeah, that's true. Who's gonna have the best Wi-Fi? That's another thing.
Wait. Are you throwing shade at Teddy? Are you throwing shade at Teddy?
I'm just saying, every battle I've seen, there's always been one person whose internet was a little off.
Right.
I'm like,
I
what's going on?
The comments too, because
in
the comments, oh my gosh, like they are too funny.
Yeah, I think
that's entertainment by itself.
Interesting.
And shout out to Jill Scott and Erykah Badu because Jill handled that classily. When Erykah Badu went down, Jill played her song and then worshipped it. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my girl Jill. And she and contrary to their ex-NFL player, she is gorgeous to me. You know what I'm saying? I will shoot my shot at Jill.
There goes the shot again.
And they made him take that. Everything he said, they made him take it back.
You know what I'm saying?
They lit him up on Twitter.
Yeah. Jill Scott is that chick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she is.
That was a good one, Cass. I like that. They don't, the battle of the internet. That's what y'all forgetting. The internet wins every time.
Every time.
So I think I have one more report about the NBA. We have that ready. We have the NBA. Yeah. So the NBA, of course, they're down in the bubble in Orlando, and Bruno Caboclo and Rashawn Holmes, they have been forced to quarantine again for 10 days because they broke the rules of the bubble. Of course, the NBA, they're in the bubble in Orlando, and they're very strict. So the thing is, they're not supposed to leave the bubble. They're not supposed to invite anybody in the bubble. And these guys ordered food. And so because they ordered food, they're forced to be quarantined. And also they have a snitch hotline for the players to tell on each other. Who's breaking protocol when it comes to this. And I was just thinking about this snitch hotline. Okay, so if I'm in the finals and it goes down to the playoffs, I'm snitching on LeBron James. If I'm playing against LeBron, LeBron, he was outside the bubble. Man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure out how this snitch thing is going to work because, you know, if you snitch on the right player and you playing against the right player, you can get him sidelined for the next 10 days. That might be something, you know.
Hey, explain.
Ain't right.
No,
you're not thinking right. No, I don't agree. I disagree with that.
Amir, explain the bubble because some of the just didn't understand what the bubble is.
Okay, let me explain the bubble. So what's going on with the NBA? They had to shorten the season because of the coronavirus. So they stopped the season in March. And so the NBA, but the season hadn't concluded. It was like 2 or 3 weeks left in the final NBA season. So instead of continuing the season as they normally would in different stadiums or arenas across the nation, they brought all the NBA teams except for like 8 down to Orlando to compete in this bubble. And so they have to be in this bubble for the next, I think, until October. So everyone has to be in this bubble. They're not supposed to leave the bubble, and they're not supposed to interact with anybody outside of the bubble. So the whole thing is that they have to be inside of this place in Disney World until the season is over. So it's kind of like it's like a camp. It's like a camp for NBA players.
Yeah, they're being sequestered.
They can't leave the camp.
Yeah,
not supposed to leave the camp.
Right.
But the thing with the food situation, so they ordered food, but apparently they have like amazing food. Didn't J.R. Smith like say how great the menu was? Like he was listing off,
it's Walt Disney World. It's Walt Disney World. You're getting 5-star.
Why are y'all ordering out? They're gonna give y'all whatever you want. Like literally, they will make you whatever you want. I'm sure.
Yeah, say it louder. Say it louder for the folks in the back. I mean, they get
what y'all ordering? McDonald's, like Chipotle, like y'all literally have like ribeye. Like I'm sure y'all have lobster. Like what are y'all doing?
Privilege. Like I'm gonna tell you about this privilege. Not only are you in a bubble, not only are you in the comforts and sanctity of your room, and got from our last report, don't you got a COVID ring, a special COVID ring or something like that? Not only are you being catered to every single day, but you just got to be the athlete to say, you know what? I feel like having some McDonald's. Come on, man. Like, let's come on, man. Hey, Cass, put me in the bubble. You won't even hear from me.
It's the same mentality about the mask. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Some people just don't want to be sequestered. That is just a bastion of privilege that they have down there. And you know what I'm saying? They're getting 5-star cuisine and they're being catered to as if they're kings and queens. You know what I'm saying? Every need is being met. And that's just not good enough because I want to do what I got to do. So I'm not going to wear a mask. And I'm not going to. Yeah, and I'm not going to wear a mask, and I'm not going to stay in this bubble. I'm going to go where I want to go and do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Just for the sake of it. Just for the sake of it. You know what I'm saying? Being a rebel without a cause and without any sense, it doesn't make any sense.
So let me ask the fellas this. I got to ask the fellas this. I want to ask the women as well, but I'm going to go to the men first. All right, guys. So we know what's happening. So the NBA, so the average NBA players is like from 19 until I think the 25. Average to 25, 25, 28. That's like the NBA age range. So you know you got young guys, they're single, and what you're telling them is that they have to be away from all type of sexual contact until October. So let me ask you this: do you guys think that all these guys are going to follow the rules when it comes to that? talking about the single guys, because you're not supposed to bring anybody in. You're not supposed to go out.
Dude, let me tell you something. Go. You want to go, King James?
Here's the situation. Normally, under those circumstances, it would not work. But I would try to keep my eye on the prize and know that the money I'm making, my brand, my team, that all that stuff that I want to get to will be gotten afterwards, and that I could go crazy afterwards. And that's just like, I mean, go ahead and sequester yourself and then go nuts after October or whenever you get eliminated. Because that's what I did when I was in the military. We were stuck in basic training for 2 months, couldn't have no contact with no women. And then afterwards, it was on and popping.
And then to add to that, like King James just said, you damn right I can be by myself in my room for a long period of time. You know why? Because I got this thing called Instagram. You know what's on Instagram? Every last single thing I want to see for free. So I'm good for the next couple months because I'm rich. So why am I sitting up here worried about, man, privilege? Oh, my fault, girl. I'm sorry, Ty. I'm just saying.
So let me ask the women, like, what do you guys think about that? Young men being in this bubble, do you really think they're going to really follow the protocol when it comes to
Go ahead.
Either one of y'all. I mean, don't speak at once, y'all. Don't speak at once.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's no telling. I mean, some of them, I don't really know, like, what are the consequences? Like, what are the consequences, set up, and if they're great enough, would they want to, risk it all? I don't know. I think it's just dependent upon that. Like,
let's put it this way. If they're caught violating the bubble protocol, then they're automatically sequestered away and can't play for 2 weeks. So if you're a star player, like LeBron James, even if he was single right now.
It's a big risk. Like,
exactly.
Especially when y'all haven't been able to play for this long. It's already like, if this is your career, like this is your passion, it's already like punishment enough to, be on quarantine and not be able to play. So it's like, if y'all can't sacrifice, whatever, then y'all need to really, do some inner reflection.
Right.
I mean, come on now. Like,
they need to just deny the flesh, fast, go through that time frame, do like King James said, hey, you're making a lot of money, just go ahead and just, quarantine yourself because you can't bring in them. I'm not going to call them any names, but you can't bring in women or anybody else. The purpose is for them to be quarantined in a safe place and not be, get the COVID, the virus.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it boils down to as well. So they just need to stay safe and fast.
And it's people who are quarantining and staying away from their family, like their wives and their children. So it's like, come on, you're a single man. Like, it's people who really not even able to see their kids. Like, come on.
Bringing a what, Ty? Bringing a what, Ty? Bringing a what?
A harem. And let's leave it at that. But let's move on to some more controversial topics, because there were a lot of stuff popping off yesterday. In addition to Kansas Hero on Pennsylvania Avenue, Portia Williams, the longtime star of Real Housewives of Atlanta, was arrested and charged with a felony and 3 charges altogether for protesting in Louisville, Kentucky for Breonna Taylor. And the glacial pace by which the prosecution has been going on with this has incited the indignation of an entire celebrity world. Everybody from Beyonce to Ellen DeGeneres to Selena Gomez to Nick Cannon, and we'll get to Nick Cannon in a minute, and other celebrities is widespread because of the fact that since March, it has been since March, since her home was busted into on a no-knock warrant, and while she was in bed sleeping at 1 a.m, and there still have been no arrest in the case. Only one of the officers have been fired, and the other 3 are still walking around free. So shout out to Portia Williams, who is basically behaving befitting of her civil rights lineage, which is to get out there and protest on behalf of Black people. But the fact that she's been charged with a felony is not going to go away, because she was out there with, and I forgot her name.
Tamika Mallory, as well as Yandy Smith.
Right, Yandy Smith from Love and Hip Hop. So there was about 90 people there. And so that's why she's being charged with a felony, because they marched to the Attorney General's home. And so the Attorney General is charging them with intimidation, which is a felony. Intimidation of a legal entity during a legal process, so they classify that as a felony.
Question.
So we'll see.
Question, James. Was it just her and Yandy and the other girl?
No. It was those three plus about 90 others. It was a throng of people that marched to the attorney. A lot of them did get arrested, charged with a felony for intimidating. He's saying that he was being intimidated because he's involved in the legal process, because he's prosecuting or investigating the case with Breonna Taylor. So that is a felony. And she got no bond. So she has to spend overnight in prison, in jail. She's in jail now, and she won't leave jail or be eligible for any bond until she sees the judge later on this morning. So next to my next report that's going on in the world today, Ash. Thank you, Ash. Nick Cannon. Woo! Nick Cannon has been immediately terminated from Viacom CBS, which is the owner, which owns MTV, and Wild 'N Out is no longer. It has been terminated permanently because of alleged anti-white and anti-Semitic statements that he made while speaking to Professor Griff on his podcast yesterday. He did not apologize adequately or sufficiently to the satisfaction of mainstream America or Viacom. So therefore, Nick Cannon and Wild 'N Out are no more on MTV. As a matter of fact, it was so immediate that even though he was on the schedule to have a show on, they put on Will Smith and the Fresh Prince or something like that. They put on other programming. So it is over for Nick Cannon and MTV forever. One of the most successful programs in the history of MTV, other than the videos. So this is a sad situation. And he came out on Facebook and said that, no, I do not hate anybody, but he did not exactly show contrition. He did not ask for penance. So basically he has been terminated. And so we'll see how that turns out, whether he can get the show back, whether he can get back on. Romeo?
Hey, can you break down anti-Semitic for me?
I'm sorry?
Can you break that down?
Can you describe?
Oh, okay. Well,
anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semite, as it is defined in America, are the Jewish people. So when you say something against Jews or Jewish people or their religion, then you are classified as Semite, as anti-Semite. And so for decades, they've been calling Minister Louis Farrakhan a virulent anti-Semite. So that means that he is against Jewish people. However, Jews are not the only Semites in the world, and I don't want to get too far into that. There are other people who are also Semites, including some Arabs, and there are Black people who believe that they are the original Semites or the original, most authentic Jews in the world, and those are the Falashas. But this is not a history lesson, but that is what a Semite is in America, those Jewish people. Okay. On to the next report. And thank you, Ash, for moving that along. Don't let Portia hate. Show my report. Thank you, Ash. Okay. I know that somebody else is already working on this. I think I believe in the story, but my question was, is Kanye West really dropping out? Now, we saw in New York Magazine that after just 2 weeks with that grandiloquent proclamation, and you know how this narcissist loves attention, with that grandiose entry, I'm going to be president. 2 weeks later, he quietly bows out, and his campaign has all of the workings of a wet firecracker, meaning it did nothing. He did nothing, and he had 2% of the vote according to the poll. So it looks like that he was just disappointed by his performance. But we'll have to go back. Anybody have any thoughts about that, especially Amir, since you're working on it?
Yeah. So the thing is this: he was supposed to go to he was supposed to get I think 130,000 signatures by today in Florida to get on the ballot. And so I don't know if he was able to meet that deadline, which is July 15th, to get on the ballot in Florida. So, but you're right. His campaign, I think his campaign strategist, a guy named Steve Kramer, he announced that Kanye was dropping out, but Kanye himself hasn't announced it. So we're not sure if this is really going to be fast, because you never know what's going to happen. He might come out a couple of days from now and say, no, I'm still running. I'm still going to be in the race. And the 2% is actually dangerous. That 2% is if you remember the Ross Perot days. I think Ross Perot was
yes, I remember that.
Yeah, Ross Perot, early 90s. He was a weird guy. billionaire, and he he took away a lot of votes.
He took about enough votes to get Bill Clinton in office. Yes.
To get Clinton in office, and he kind of split the votes on the Republican side.
Yes.
And so we don't want Kanye to do this thing on this side because there's still a lot of people like Chance the Rapper had a whole soliloquy of why people should consider voting for Kanye. And I'm like, wow, this is really crazy. And I'm glad Black Twitter got on Chance about, that craziness of thinking about voting for Kanye. So that 2% is definitely dangerous. We can't dismiss that 2% because that 2% can be enough because you got to think about it. Trump only won 3 states the last time by like 70,000 votes. It was a real slim margin, which put him over the edge in electoral college. So we don't want Kanye to be a distraction this time around.
Right. And we also have to add that he lost the popular vote by more than 3 million people. 3 million. But it was the electorate that went ahead and carried him out into the White House. So yes, it is important what Kanye does and does not. So hopefully we'll have a word soon. And so we can go back to our producers, Portia and Ashley, since they want some attention so bad they want to be identified. Our producers are the ones that's doing this slideshow. So thank you, Ashley. Okay.
Shout out to our producers.
Yes. Kelly Rowland was talking about that during a decade-long torture. She said that for a decade, that being under or in Beyonce's shadow was torturous, and that is mostly self-inflicted because of the fact that she thought that everything that she would put out, she would be negatively compared to Beyonce. And so basically she's saying, she's equating to that. It's like tantamount to a golden prison. She's saying that she had the best life, but she felt handcuffed by being affiliated or associated with Beyonce. So that basically, and where am I at on the screen anyway? What happened? Oh, so Portia and Ashley are punishing me? Okay, you know what? Okay.
Right.
I will see y'all after the show. Right.
I just saw that.
What? Oh, I snorted. Oh, no.
I'm dead.
Oh, my God.
I know.
But yeah. So anyway, but we can go ahead and but I think that go ahead. I want to hear what you guys think about what she thinks about being now I can start my video. Okay.
Everybody.
I was just trying to give them some shine. You can't even give people some shine sometimes. Anyway.
Oh man, that was there.
Well,
yeah. What do y'all think about what do y'all think about her feeling like she was being weighed down and smashed by somebody else's by somebody else's shine that she felt she just felt the weight of Beyonce's image leaning against her shoulder, that she felt crushed by it, but for an entire decade. What do y'all think about that?
Oh.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I understand. Like, it's very hard to be a woman in, being compared in the industry. Like, I totally understand that. Like, you were in a group, Beyonce kind of is the iconic figure who came out of that group. She was the lead singer. So I get that. Like, being compared to people is very difficult. And Romeo's scrunching up his face, but you don't understand the scrutiny that women have to deal with, So from body to colorism to everything, like, it's very real. So I can totally understand why she feels like she would be compared to Beyonce. I mean, like, you're talking about Beyonce. She's like literally the most iconic performer of our time, like, in my opinion, and she's beautiful and she's doing so much on her platform on top of that. I think Kelly Rowland is beautiful. I think she's extremely talented, but, a lot of people are not really, recognizing her or haven't over her career. Like, she just dropped Coffee. That was a big thing for her. But, over her, solo career, she's only had a couple of, songs that have come out. So I totally understand that. And I think Romeo? It's okay for her to say that.
May I, fellas? May I?
Yes, go ahead, bro.
Oh, you're right, Cassidy. I'm sorry. Let me put that in references that I understand. Let me see. I am on the same team as Kobe Bryant, and I start on the same team as Kobe Bryant, and I make a lot of money. And I got 5-6 rings with Kobe Bryant, but I'm sad.
But you're not Kobe Bryant.
Right. So why am I sad? Because I didn't get recognized. I still got the rings. I still got the money. So what's the problem?
This is
You
not
still got-
rings. Like
still-
you're talking about a team. You're talking about individuals versus a team. A basketball team, you're all working collectively. A solo artist, you're working on your own. It's your own brand. You can't compare the two.
No. We can't.
Serena
compare
Williams
this.
is athlete on her own. She's not on a basketball team. She can't rely on LeBron James to get her a championship ring.
We're
She has
talking
to
about
work on
Destiny-
her own.
We're talking about Destiny's
And in
Child.
Destiny's Child,
No,
yes,
we're
they
not.
won
No, hold on.
awards in
Hold on,
Destiny's
hold on,
Child.
hold on.
But as
We're
a
talking-
solo artist, if you can't win the same awards on your own, then how can you equate yourself to someone who is winning like awards on their own?
Oh, you're talking about
Compare
individual.
being
I
on a
thought-
team and being individual. We're
Okay,
talking
so
about after Destiny's Child. She's
Right.
talking about
They
her
broke
solo
up in
career.
Right.
Oh, you're talking about after. Okay.
Right. They broke up in
Yeah.
2006.
Get it right.
And
Get it
between
right.
2006 and 2016 or thereabouts, she felt like anything that she came out with would be
She
negatively
would be
compared to
Yeah.
Beyonce, which created torture in her own mind, and she admitted that it was self-inflicted. That's what she was saying.
And that's totally understandable. A lot of people have self-confidence issues. Like it's a really hard entertainment industry is very difficult to be in as a woman. Like and that's just fact. Think about Beyonce's own sister Solange. Like think about being Beyonce's sister and how difficult it was for Solange and how she, came out with this whole other, genre kind of music. Like you can't be in the same lane as Beyonce. She had to define herself as an artist and create this whole style for herself. And she's very successful in that. But that's her own sister. I'm sure she feels a lot of certain ways about, becoming her own person outside of being Beyonce's sister or being Beyonce's friend or being a Destiny's Child member. Like she wants to be Kelly Rowland. Yeah, I'm friends with Beyonce, but I don't want to be known as Beyonce's friend. Like,
And that's understandable. Go ahead. No,
I'm
go
just
ahead. Ty.
saying.
Go ahead, Ty.
Cassidy, all I can say is that I love your passion behind this go off session right now.
Just
I
saying.
think
Let's
everything
make
that
it
you
clear.
said was valid, true. I know it's your opinion, sis, but I love seeing this side of you. Absolutely.
I appreciate. I'm just saying, as a woman, it's really hard out here. Like,
yeah,
social media, all these opinions are being thrown at you. It's hard to be a woman. Like, let's just keep it real. And shout out to her for being honest and being real about how she feels.
Now you simmer down, Romeo. Simmer down
You
because
stop
you
punching
didn't
now, Cass.
understand the whole entire.
I'm not
premise of
punching. I
what we
just
were
want you
talking
to understand.
Yeah, and you know what? I see what you're saying, Cass, because of the fact that I know how Tito felt, and so
Right.
Janet managed to get. You know, what I'm saying, I know what it's like to be Tito. I can understand how
It's
Tito
hard to
feels.
have a superstar in your family. Like,
Right.
just imagine like how hard that is.
Right.
Of course, you want to feel that comparison, and that's on any plane. From
You're right.
Nobody
Ladies,
wants to be Tito. Nobody wants to be Tito. Janet managed to get out from under that shadow, but Tito did not. And so, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And
I
think about
understand.
how hard that was for her. Like, she had to make her own name,
Yeah.
not being Michael Jackson's sister, being Janet Jackson.
I'm with both of y'all. And Sarah James on Instagram, on Facebook says, dude is completely detached from reality. Kelly is still compared and not seen as good as Beyonce, period. And you're right, Sarah James. But let me tell you something. Everybody can't be Kobe. Everybody can't be LeBron. Either up
But
your
that's
game.
not the thing. You can be you can be talented and people will ignore your talent because they only see one person.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. So, she's saying she wasn't able to really be seen because Beyonce was this forefront and this force. So people really didn't even look to,
Right. She's not
Kelly
hating on
Rowland.
Beyonce.
Not hating on
right?
her. That's her best friend. That's like her sister.
Yeah. It's just
She's
her.
just stating how she felt,
Yeah.
And
she said it's self-inflicted. Like,
right. And it was
we
self-inflicted.
all
Right.
suffer with self-confidence issues. Everyone is not walking around like I'm the baddest all the time.
Everybody can't be Portia.
And you shouldn't walk around
Right.
like that. Like, it's okay to not feel perfect all the time. Like,
Oh, I can bet you your name now, huh?
AR, you just quiet.
I'm just
Romeo
watching the
getting
ball session,
attacked
man. You know,
from,
I'm a spectator. I got my popcorn over here, man. You know what I'm saying?
He's
y'all
Amira, you know how it goes down. Come on.
Right.
Oh, man. Fellas.
Tread lightly.
Now, I think the thing is this, man. We have a guest coming, but I want to mention this before we move on. Last week we talked about how Kelly Rowland, she said that she went broke because she kept having to like keep up with the Jones and shit, whether it was a car, whether it was a house. Like she was spending so much money. And I was making the point that, you know, I can understand that, because it's like, if Beyonce is your best friend and like Beyonce can't spend enough money and your pockets aren't that deep, that can really affect you emotionally. If you think about it, like if you out and you got everybody on here probably have one rich friend or a wealthy friend that can just spend whatever. And then it's like, you know, if you with this person every single day, you're like, damn, man, how do you keep up with this person? You can't keep up with them. That can really like mess up your self-esteem or your confidence if you're not really within yourself. So my thing is I can understand why it happens. Is that Batman and Robin syndrome, Scottie Pippen syndrome? Like sometimes you just want to be that person, but it can affect you if you're not that person because you're living under that large shadow. So I can understand how it can affect them mentally.
All right, we got guests here.
Especially if you rocking a New York hat and a Lakers hat. I don't know what's going on over there with that team over there. I don't know what's going on.
Lakers. This wasn't planned. You know what I'm saying? This is just what happened. You know what I mean? This is what happened. It didn't happen like that. You know?
East Coast, West Coast battle number 2. Let's go.
How everybody doing? Good morning, everybody.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
man. Gentlemen, we have some hip hop dignitaries up in the house. We were just talking about some things that were associated that went down last night in terms of hip hop with Professor Griffin, Nick Cannon. We probably be able to touch upon that, but we also wanted to talk about pay homage to some of our pioneers here with our legends, Capone and Lack. And so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself just quickly, very much. We can get that video queued up from our producers, but why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves right quick to the masses and let them know what's going on with you today.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, everybody? You know, my name is Capone, one half of Capone and Noriega, that dynamic duo from Queens, New York. And I'm here with my brother Locke. Let him know, Locke.
Peace, this is Locke, man, from Smart Thug Entertainment. I'm the hip-hop educator. And, you know, I'm hailing out of Jersey, man. Even though I got on this New York hat, you know what I mean? Shout out to Lawrence Teller, one of the greatest linebackers ever. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Locke's in the building.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, we know that, you know, hip hop has been used, especially during the golden era of hip hop, that it was used not only just to entertain, but also to educate and try to uplift and edify our people to advance them forward. So how did you guys come up together? Why don't you go back through how you guys met at I believe it was at the Grammys, and then y'all started to coalesce and with your skill set to create something unique and dynamic.
You know, how we met was Capone is working with a good friend of mine. His name is Merk Beats. Me and Merk been cool since the 7th grade. That's my brother. So I asked him to introduce us. You know, Merk and I were working on Lesson 2, Hip Hop and Education. We were working on that album. He was working on a project with Capone and Daz. They got an album coming out. So I asked for that introduction. And once he made that happen, then it was, hey, let's do some music. So we did the song Redemption, which is on the Wolves EP and also on Lesson 2, Hip Hop and Education. But in that studio session that we recorded the song Redemption, that was our first time getting together, our first time bonding, our first time having a real conversation. Like that studio session was the session that sparked off the relationship that we have between us.
That's what's up. Now I know that some of my colleagues, before we go on to play that video, some of our colleagues have some questions that they would like to ask you. Either Romeo or Amir or Cass or Ty. Go ahead with your question.
Yo, I'll jump straight in. First and foremost, I'm an all-out fan, period, point blank. Just say that. I would like to say this though, because I have a question. The era of hip hop, right, that you guys came in, you changed the format. Like you actually took people behind the curtain and showed, you know, the happy side and the consequence side. Like music became real. Now don't get it twisted. I'm still a down south. I'm from Atlanta. I love down south. But you guys gave a realness to music that added a purity of it because everybody else was doing this cookie cutter stuff. What made you produce the music that you did during that time? Like, was it life? Was it you were living the moment? Like, can you tell me about that?
I mean, for me, like, you know, like coming up in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Coming up in And my first album released in '97, man, it was real. I had a lot of real competition, you know what I'm saying? You know, had Wu-Tang, you had Nas, you had Mobb Deep, you had all these artists that's right now legendary coming out. So, you know, everybody at that point was giving their life, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't really no snap your fingers and do your step songs and all that at that point. Everybody was basically living their life and putting their life on record. You know what I'm saying? It was about, you know, everything that's happening in the city and coming up in the hood, you know what I mean? So that's basically how my music was formatted then, you know what I'm saying? Now, you know, music, not saying it's watered down, definitely not, because I respect all music. I'm not one of them 90s rappers that come out like, oh, I just love 90s music and F this and F that. Nah, you know what I'm saying? I love all music. I listen to everything. But at that time, I think music was just more geared around street life instead of club life, instead of, woman life. It was just more street, because you had a lot of rappers that, as like myself, that went to jail and came home a rapper. You know what I'm saying? I was a rapper before jail, but a lot of rappers then was jail dudes or was street dudes. And you know, that depicted the way your music sounded, the way your videos looked, and the way the people perceived.
Gotcha.
That's what's up. And so I wanted to talk about, how did the hip hop educator originate, and how, why did y'all come up and formulate Smart Thug, you know what I'm saying, as an entity, and how can you apply that to today? Because as you know, we're going through like a triple epidemic. First, we have we have a pandemic with the virus, with the corona, with the Rona rage. Then we have an epidemic of a long-time epidemic of police brutality and injustice, and also now with mass unemployment. So how do you apply Smart Thug to today's time? How do you translate that into currency that we can use for today?
Well, I'll take the last part of your question, and then I'll address the first part of your question.
All right.
As far as how we can take this music today and apply it to what's going on. A couple of things. Number one, I think it's always good to interject positive energy into any type of situation. There's a lot going on. So you don't just want to bombard yourself with I'm not going to say negative, harsh realities. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that your experience is, you do want to have something else that you can listen to. You do want to have another outlet. You do need something else that's educational content, but that's also hip hop, that's based in the culture of hip hop as far as the sound is concerned. You want something like that you can listen to. So how do that apply today? When you see these pandemics and when you see all these things going on, you do know that you have something else that's positive that you can listen to while you're going through this. It doesn't necessarily apply to what's happening as far as the content is concerned. We're not talking about COVID-19, you know what I'm saying, and the coronavirus specifically within the lyrics. So when you're trying to make the connection between the Wolves EP and the COVID-19, we're not rapping about that. This is an educational album. We're talking about Queen Nzinga, Assata Shakur, the Haitian Revolution. It's a content-driven album. So, it's good that you can have a positive outlet or something positive to listen to in these times. That's how I think it's relevant, and that's where I think it's prevalent. How did it start? It's just a matter of, I wanted to I gave you what I was going through at the time that I started doing educational hip hop music. I was a guy that was reading a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was also a guy that was rapping a lot. And it was basically like those two worlds just merging and coming together. So it was a natural thing. This started in about 2010. I put out Lesson 1 Hip Hop Education. I put out Lesson 2 Hip Hop and Education. And now we got the Wolves EP that's out now. Yeah. So it's it didn't just, this is not something that's like poof out the blue. We just need to give some type of positive thing. This is skill sets coming together. It's knowledge coming together. It's our natural lives and the natural message that we want coming together.
That's what's up. Before we play the video, before we move on to Amir or Ty or Cass, do we have that video ready, producers? If that's possible to play that now. And just go ahead and get people.
I was raised across the river from the school of 5 percenters. The knowledge that's within us is God-given. We winners, the young inventors. The first black dentist was Robert Freeman. I dropped out of high school, never made it to Lehman. Instead, I saw a jail cell, read and learn the meaning A black power, Bible paper, the rap sour. Our bloodline is designed from greatness. Architects, still we screw face each other like we in mark for death. It be your own kind scheming soon as you park the Lex.
I see the God in my fellow man, trying to teach the babies we interrupting the devil's plan. Overstand the obvious. Gangster with the consciousness, jewels drip like alkaline water down the esophagus. I could just level my composure from the wild hyper. That's why your foul energy be non-cypher. Split decisions be causing my youngins decades. Pin it to the rhythm, but then I'm feeling like Wes Craig. Listen, you the leader that you looking for, instead of complaining about what kings won't do.
With your work involved.
Well, that put me in a state right now. Before I get to Amir, I'm gonna get to you, Amir. I want to have one of the ladies ask you guys a question. Either one of you can fire away.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted, you mentioned, talking about Assata Shakur and Queen Nzinga. Why was this important for you guys to kind of talk about, Black women and, the history of Black women in this feature?
I think right now the woman need it. You know what I'm saying? I think right now with a lot of things going on in the society, you know what I'm saying? Women is getting treated just as worse as men right now. You know what I'm saying? With the killings by officers, with just a lot of injustice that's going on around men. There's a lot of women. Look at Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, you know what I'm saying? And that's just a few to name that the same instances that we're going through as men, the women are going through. So there's no difference, you know what I'm saying? And me personally, I just want a woman to know that, we're going to speak for y'all. If not nobody, excuse me, if not nobody, me and Lot are going to speak for y'all. We're going to give y'all a voice and let y'all know that the men is with y'all and how much that the Black woman means to just not the Black man, but to earth, period. That the Black woman, she's a goddess, you know what I'm saying? And we got to put Black women on these pedestals now instead of breaking them down and just talk about them stripping and doing all and robbing dudes and all the negativity that some of these rappers base their music around on Black women. We just want to give something totally different. Just give the Black woman a breath of fresh air where they could breathe and say, wow, somebody's recognizing us. Somebody's recognizing us for the great past we have, for the great future we have, for the great present we have. And that's what I want to do.
I'm about ready to pass around the Alfred plate, but I'm gonna go ahead and pass it instead to Amir. He has a question.
Yeah, I want to talk about how I guess the 5% movement kind of shaped New York hip hop. It seems like there was something that was very, very prevalent. I heard you guys mention some things in it. If you can kind of explain what it is and kind of how did it become like almost like this de facto teachings that kind of shaped hip hop in the early 80s and 90s?
Because I'm gonna speak about that real quick because I think that was more prevalent in New York than New Jersey at that time, you know what I'm saying? But as far as New York goes, you only had two teachings basically back in the 80s and 90s. You was either Christian or you was 5%er. Like Muslims and all that wasn't real prevalent in New York City because most of the founding fathers of the 5% Nation were from New York City. So, it was just something that we had to follow, you know what I'm saying? Like, as youths, I don't know how to say that word. Did I say it right? As youths, you know what I mean? But as like Joe Pesci, as youths, we was taught to follow our elders, and most of my elders and most of the elders in New York City were 5%ers because they either went to jail and became 5%, or they was in the street 5%. And then you had the music that also enlightened brothers and sisters on the nation. It wasn't really, Muslim wasn't in songs like that. Before Wu-Tang, you had X-Clan, you had Paul Righteous Teachers, you had Brand Nubian, you had a lot of 5% narratives in most of New York hip hop. And that's what gave me and Nori at the time our life. Me and Nori met in jail. And the funny thing about it was we both on two separate sides of the jail. And this God-body brother gave Nori life, meaning when I say gave him life, he gave him the book of life. He gave him the book of lessons. And he started teaching Nori, the 5% Nation. And then he wound up coming to my side of the jail. And at this time, me and Nori didn't even know each other. And he wound up meeting me and we linked and he gave me life. So, you know, that's just how the stars align and people connect.
That's
and
deep.
That's just how it goes. And then I teach somebody else teaches somebody, and the nation grows. But that was the wave back then. It was also like a gang, because you didn't have the Bloods and Crips in New York. You didn't have the Gangsta Disciples, the GDs, the folks. You didn't have none of that. You had 5% Nation. That was the first real gang in New York.
That's what's up. Ty or Romeo, did you want to jump in here, Ty?
Yeah, you know, first of all, I love what you all are. I say preaching because I'm a Southern girl, and when you start preaching or you start talking about some really good stuff, then we start clapping the hands and saying amen and all of that. So I love it. I love the fact that you all are definitely going from a different aspect from what is out there now, especially as it relates to, you know, education. And I think you coined it and basically said giving them life or giving life, or, you know, more so of how are you all paying it forward. I love that it's coming from a passionate place that we all can like tell just based on you all telling us your story. But stepping into paying it forward and giving life, what is next for either of you or both of you? Because I know you got some stuff coming out there. Like, you know, is there anything that we should be on the lookout for as you all still merge to the efforts of paying it forward?
Well, you know, I will say that, you know, I'm currently working on a play. It's going to be centered around a lot of the music. It's going to be a hip hop educational play. So it's definitely going to be centered around the music that you're already hearing. You know, there's going to be a few surprises in there, but I'm working on the play right now. And that's what I'm focused on. I'm always working on more music and I'm always writing. So that's a given. You know, I definitely got more educational hip hop music to put out. But, you know, I'm focusing on this play.
As far as me and Daz Dillinger from the Dog Pound, we got an album coming out.
Okay.
For East and West Coast, you know what I'm saying? For the people out there who think that, you know, from the songs LA, LA to New York, they probably think we still beef and all from the East Coast, West Coast beef. Nah, it's all love. I'm rocking the Lakers jersey right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Lakers.
At the end of the day, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? We got great music. We got a lot of great people on the album. We're doing a documentary too, also with the album. And you know, I got my clothing line, Akasi Collection. You know, hopefully I can get y'all some gear on that side. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure, please.
You know, I'm just out here working, and then me and Locke together, we got Smart Thug Entertainment. We got a lot of things. You know, this is not going to be the last project we do. This is not a one-off. This is actually, you know, a one starting something major. You know, we got a lot of great things coming. We have a lot of great ideas, and we're just going to put our ideas to use and try to hopefully bring a bunch of other people in that feel as passionate as we do as educational thugs.
That's what's up, Romeo.
Hey, I got a question for you, bro. Why do you think there's a hesitation when it comes to hip hop being taught in schools? Because I remember high school. They'll teach me about Beethoven. They'll teach me about all the classic creators, Mozart, but being 2020, how come hip hop has not become a curriculum as far as like high school? How come hip hop has not become a curriculum in high school, you think?
Because
leave Beethoven out of it though. Because they said he was black. Okay.
He was black.
But he's not recognized universally as black. He's recognized as a European composer. Let's get that real. Whether he's black or not, which I believe, but mainstream, right? America,
black on black.
That's right. That's right.
No, well, first of all, I just want to say I am working on another album, and it's about music and those classical artists that you were just talking about. Whether it's Mozart, whether it's Beethoven, whether it's Bach, you know, I'm working on music that explains their story, that talks about artists.
Snap, for real?
Yes.
Whoa.
Definitely.
That's dope.
Number two, you know what I'm saying? it's no filter on hip hop. So you can't just go from whatever your curriculum is to adding this raw material to that situation. What I'm specifically talking about is, so if you go back and listen to lesson 1, because I tried to get it into schools, you know what I'm saying? Went around the country trying to do this. I got a song called Kings and Queens. I got a song called The Moors. I got a song called The First 25 Presidents. You know, it's an educational album. We was trying to put this into schools, but what we found that is you can't just, you know, you can't start telling people about the kings and queens of Africa. You can't just start telling people about the Moors. You can't just come in and start disrupting this whole education. Listen to your album, but that's like a kid. You know what I'm saying? That's not. You can't put that into the curriculum of the school. So that's the hesitation of why you're not going to have hip hop music, because it's raw. It's just giving you the truth. And once you're talking about an educational system, you're talking about a system.
The only hip hop they really acknowledge in schools is Tupac.
Yeah.
They look at Tupac as a poet. So they look at, because, and I think that has to be because he also was an actor. So a lot of teachers take him as maybe he was just acting out on his records.
But he's sanitized in the schools though, right?
Music is so deep, like it's just the way he writes in his poetry. And that's why I think they use him as a lot of curriculum. But there's a lot of teachers who do use Tupac in their curriculum in music.
Yeah, but they use a sanitized version, right?
Yeah, and you know, they might do Dear Mama and you know, and certain, they're not gonna do Hit 'Em Up, and you know, they're not gonna do
the point that Lat just brought up, because somebody on Facebook just made a comment. They said they love y'all music, they love the show. Kathleen Collins said Jay-Z is taught in college level via Eric Michael Dyson, which is true, but that's a course that you have to take.
Yeah.
What I'm referring to, me and Lat referring to, right. So actually, what me and Lat was referring to is school systems. Each one of us sat in class and we had to write a report on one of those 3 block. Like we had to write a report. It was a part of the school.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant. And that's what I'm trying to get across to the listeners this morning. What we were talking about was actually school curriculums. Am I correct, Lat?
Yes, yes. The information that's in the curriculums. You know, the actual, you know, who came here first, what, you know, that type of information.
Yeah, but the thing
for the record, I went to SOHK. You know what I mean? For the record. I didn't go to Rutgers. I didn't go to Yale. I went to SOHK, School of Hard.
But what I think you guys
graduated in criminology.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. What I think you guys are alluding to is the fact that you know, the American educational system is more about indoctrination rather than teaching. You get the teaching on the streets through your music, and so that is what we're talking about. Because Tupac, yeah, he is talked about in some schools and universities, but it's almost antiseptic. It's almost so clean that it's not even really Tupac, because they're not gonna talk about Tupac associated with who you talked about with Asa Shakur. Yeah. They're not going to associate him with the Black Panthers and his mother being a Black Panther. They'll talk about his mother being a drug dealer and a drug addict, but they won't talk about her mother being a revolutionary in the Black Panther Party. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's the difference.
You hit it right on the nose. Booyah! Like, word. They're going to talk about him, then they're going to talk about, you know, everything that matters but doesn't matter when they're trying to teach music curriculum. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's just the narrative of the educational system where it's at right now.
Okay, I'm asking my producers if we have time for one more question. I think Amir wanted to get one in. Okay. Amir, go ahead if you had another question.
Definitely, man. Just moving forward, man. What do you guys see the state of hip hop? You know, because it seems like we've like hip hop goes through these different levels. Common kind of pointed it out in his song. I used to love it where it kind of transitions and goes to different states and different cities and different, it's grabbed by different people. What do you guys think that this is going to be the next place where hip hop lives? Like, do you think it's still going to maintain and still be something that's in the Black community, or do you think it's going to be something that's going to kind of go beyond the community? Like, what do you think the next level of hip hop is?
What,
I go first. I think that hip hop is going to constantly expand because hip hop is always the voice of the people. It starts with a particular kind of rawness. You first have to be a part of the culture of hip hop. And I think that each generation has their own way that they want to express themselves. You know, you're not going to be able to dictate how people want to express themselves. So hip hop is always going to be that youth, that street, that form of expression, and you don't know where it's going to go. But I also think that it's also a global phenomenon. You know, hip hop is all over the world. So you have different cultures, people in Europe and people in China and people in India and people in Saudi Arabia. You have all of these different cultures with their form of hip hop, whether it's people in Haiti, like the joint we was watching last night, you know what I'm saying? And,
Soleil.
There's always going to be a form of hip hop that's raw that comes from the people. And you just, there's no way to dictate where that's going to go and how that's going to turn, you know what I'm saying? Because it's from the soul.
I think that right now, as long as the state of the world in America, the way the injustice is happening and things like that, I don't think there'll ever be another Eminem. I don't think there'll never be another Action Bronson. I don't think there'll never be another white hip hop artist to actually come out and make a difference in hip hop. As long as the people in hip hop and as long as the black people in America are getting treated the way we do, we're gonna close that door. You know what I'm saying? And right now, you got Eminem coming out, fuck Drew Brees. Oh, I don't know if I was supposed to curse or not, but
it's all good, bro.
He said F Drew Brees, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's coming from a standpoint of hip hop. That's not coming from Eminem being white and Drew Brees being white. That's coming from Eminem being allowed to be in a culture that he was allowed to be in. He was welcomed in with open arms, so he feels he had to stand up. But I don't think there'll be another Eminem. You know what I mean? I don't think there'll be another artist of not black culture to be in hip hop. So we're starting to move in a way to where we're starting to own our community, because hip hop is a community. We're starting to own our community. Now you're gonna have to sign up to come in this community. You can't just come in.
I know that's right.
Dictate how we move and how we sound, because now we can't go and rock and roll and dictate how they sound. They ain't even want to give Nelly a Grammy because his country album was #1. They ain't even acknowledge his country album was #1. They won't even acknowledge him. So we acknowledge these people. And right now hip hop has to really own ourselves, own our look, own our responsibilities, and also be accountable for our actions. And I think that's one thing with the Wolves EP is we're being accountable of our actions. We're trying to be accountable of the state of hip hop moving forward and shaping the culture in a certain way. I'm not saying that this is the only kind of music I'm gonna make, because I also have like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I do make them gangster records because I do come from that. I can't hide my past. I do come from that. So I'm not gonna water myself down, but I'm going to give you both sides of me. Everybody has two sides. There's two sides to every coin. You have to know both sides of people. Some people be nice as hell till you irritate them, then they want to go in. You be like, oh shit, you used to say hi every day. No, you done cross my other side. Everybody has their side. You know what I mean?
And that brings up a good point, because I'm glad that you brought that up, because you're articulating it perfectly. Because I think Andre 3000 said it one time about a decade ago when I was interviewing, and he said, man, we can be all good because it wouldn't be fun. And plus, you're being hypocritical if you're only talking about one issue while ignoring the rest of your stuff. And so just because you have some music in there that some people want to approve of, that's still all you wrapped in one Capone. You see what I'm saying? And so it's just, you just keeping it real. You could chew gum and walk at the same time. You can talk about your thug past and still talk about uplifting people. You can do both.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Tupac did it. He made uplifting records. He made great records. He'll say he loved woman in one record and call her bitch in another one. Like it didn't even matter. It's just like you have to have You have to give people you. You know what I mean? You have to give, because that's the only thing they want to see. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, they're going to respect you instead of trying to give them something that you.
Right. Romeo, you said Facebook has some more comments?
Oh, yeah. Facebook is chiming in. Nakeem Williams says, peace, Capone. Janice Simmons from the 229 is checking in. Femi Swint says, great job. Keep up the good work, guys. As always, Philadelphia checking in, especially great job for those producers that put in all the behind the scenes works with you guys. D Turner, Lizzie Grind, like Facebook is on point with you guys. And I think they loving the fact that you guys are definitely bringing an education to hip hop, because I'm not going to say that it's missed. I know me, AR, Cass in the City, King James, our new partner Ty, we talk about this all the time. I'm not saying the educational part is missed. I am saying I'm kind of disappointed. This is out of my mouth. With everything going on today with the marches and COVID, I'm kind of disappointed that some of the major artists did not create music for the times, but still kept talking about their cars in the club. I was lost.
And for me, like I think that, you know, it's a climate to where, you know, a lot of artists are also like, you know, if I can't sell it, I don't want to put it out. You know what I'm saying? And you know, people have images to uphold, images to protect. And I think that some of these artists, they're not even capable of making those records. You know what I'm saying? They're not even capable. They don't even have the brain capacity to make a Black and I'm Proud record, to make a Fight the Power. You know what I'm saying? To make these records, to We Are the Worlds and all these. They don't have the brain capacity to make them records. They don't, and I'm not disrespecting them because they might be great at what they do, but sometimes they just have to stick to what they do and leave this lane for the Rhapsodies and the Talibs and the Smart Thugs, entertainers. You know, leave this lane for people who really have knowledge on these issues.
And they have already like a mission to do, you know, and put out the educational pieces like the both of you. Like I heard both of you talk about all of the, you know, future initiatives that you all got going on with the stage plays and, you know, with the documentary and also a new album coming out. So, you know, I think it's most important. It's really important now that we focus on who's doing it and be appreciative of those artists that are putting out the educational stuff and focus on, you know, your missions and go, you know, really support you all in relation to that mission. And I heard you talk about a teacher that reached out and said, hey, I shared your music because I wanted my students to learn via this way. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's kind of the only way that I like learning. It's my preference because at the end of the day, it resonates to me really quickly. I don't need no long drawn out book. I'm just being honest. Hey, let me throw on my earbuds. Let me listen to it. Oh, I got it. I'm going to vote. Or, you know, I've just found out about these amazing Black women and men in history. So I really appreciate you both, you know, bringing forth what you have, your knowledge, because like you said, Capone, like, I mean, it's few of you, right? But the few of you are making some serious moves and impacts out here. So I think it's important that we support you all. Those of you that are putting out the information that's needed now. Forget those that aren't, because they're irrelevant. They're not putting out nothing and they want to continue to be irrelevant, or either they just don't have the capacity, the skills, or the knowledge to do it.
Facts.
That's what's up. But fellas, thank you so much for coming by and hollering at us. And I'm sorry that we kept y'all longer than the, you know, the 10 to 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But you was But you was dropping knowledge, so we had to let you hang around for just a little while longer. You know what I'm saying? So why don't we go ahead and close this out by repeating the project that you got going on right now and where they can get it.
Okay, the Wolves Educational Hip Hop album is out right now. It's available on all your digital streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, everywhere. This Wolves EP, you spell Lock, L-A-K. It's Capone, one half of the legendary group CNN. The Wolves EP is crazy. It's out right now.
Yeah.
Go get it.
Yeah. Shout out to Rolling Out, man, for having us. We appreciate everybody. I hope everybody have a wonderful, blessed day. And stay focused, stay smart. And remember, Smart Thug is the brand, baby.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Hey,
That's what's up.
Hey, Capone. Cass in the City got bars. Cass in the City got bars, Capone.
Cass in the City got bars?
Bars. Got bars.
No, yeah, don't. It's a joke. They love to joke over here. I do not rap. I do not sing. I'm gonna leave that to y'all.
I mean,
you going there?
yeah, no, she also break dances, so she got skills, man. You know what I'm saying?
Got skills too, man.
Oh man, y'all! I love y'all show, man. Thanks for having us, man.
No, thank you.
Take
No,
care.
thank you for blessing us, and y'all take care. God bless y'all, brothers.
God bless.
Yeah, man. Say, man. I don't know, Cass. We're gonna get this album. We're gonna look, AR. We're gonna get this album. I need for 15%.
You know what? You know what? Romeo gonna get Cass signed no matter damn what.
Everybody who comes on here, she can rap.
Hey, King James.
They'll be like, Cassie, come to the studio, and then they'll be like, Romeo, what did you think?
Me and King James gonna get this 20%. We gonna get me and King James. We gonna get this 20%.
Cass, you know what though? The way you were passionate a little bit earlier, I don't know. I would see a hit coming from there.
Oh no!
Come on, Ty.
Rapping?
Come on,
No.
do it for
I
the
can't
women.
rap.
Do it
I
for
can't
the ladies.
sing. I got the word for y'all. I'm gonna use my voice, my platform, but I am not a rapper. I'm not a singer. Y'all will be very disappointed if I start rapping.
Oh man,
I ain't even gonna play with y'all like that.
But you could be a rap writer. You can rhyme, can't you?
Ooh.
Oh, now you want me to be a poet? Y'all need to leave the skills to the people who know how to do that. I don't know how to do all that.
He said, I want to stay in my lane, like Capone them said. Listen,
They got
I'm
that.
not-
They got that over there, like Ty said, and
Right.
they doing it well. They got
Right.
it. They don't need my help.
Yeah, and what did y'all think about that? I mean, I thought that was powerful.
That was
what the brothers
dope.
were talking about, and they showed. I mean, they exemplified an act where you can have music and entertainment and coalesce the two to create some sonic magic. What do you think, AR?
Yeah, so the thing is this, man, it goes off of what KRS-One always say. He would call it edutainment, where you mix education and entertainment together. So it's like we used to in the early 80s, that's what hip hop was about. It was about educating people, about giving people history lessons. And it kind of went towards the pop genre, where it was more about less about history and more about, I guess, the violence and you're right, debauchery and some of the sex that happens in the Black community. But hip hop started as a way to educate people, as a way to, if you could put on a Public Enemy album, and that could be a whole lesson about what was happening with black people. And I just hope more artists get back to that. You know, I don't think that every artist don't really have the capacity to put something out. But for those who have the skill to educate themselves, they should definitely leave some gems to the people, because you got a lot of listeners, man. Hip hop is very powerful, and it's a tool, and you can use it to destroy or you can use it to rebuild. So I definitely want people to do what they're doing and kind of follow in their footsteps.
I love like Ty said, like that's so many people's, like that's their outlet. Like a lot of people don't sit at home, they don't watch the news. A lot of people don't follow, the news outlets on social media. So it's like, if that's, where you get your information from, there's so many people out here doing it. Why not? Like, I think like we talked about Lil Baby and he did it so well, but I never would have expected that from him.
And I was going to bring up that same thing. I was going to agree. Ty actually brought up a good point about the teacher that reached out to them. What blew me away was the fact that he said that they took it and presented it to the system, and the system said no. So now in my head, I'm trying to figure out, well, who presents to the system then? Because you're right, but just me remembering high school, I think the last president that I remember in a history book was Reagan, right? I think that was the last, maybe Bush, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, it's 2020, and like, I'm pretty sure that the curriculum got to be behind, a good 5 years, at least 10, Amir?
If not more, right.
More,
right.
Nah, it's-
But even you talking about presidents, what about Black history? Like there's a lot of Black history that is not in textbooks, that is not taught to students.
That was 2
Our
weeks.
own children don't even know. And that's why it's like self-education is so important. That's why parents have to teach outside of the classroom. You know, you have to educate your kids yourself. And like he said, he got his education while he was in jail, while he was in prison. Like, you know, it's not always traditional. That doesn't mean you stop learning.
That's good, Cassidy. I like what you said. And then too, Romeo, back to your point, it's the system. When he said system, like it resonated differently. It's how he said it. He was like, it's the system. So we have to remember it's the system. And back to Cassidy's point, we have to take ownership ourselves to learn outside of the system.
And it's kind of, and my thing is this though, you know, and going back to Cassidy's point, you think about like growing up and it's like, although we had Black teachers, it's like, I'm kind of mad at some of my Black teachers for not teaching me about Juneteenth, for not teaching me about Black Wall Street, not teaching me about Assata Shakur. I didn't learn about Assata Shakur until I was in my freshman year at college and I got the book about Assata Shakur. So there's a lot of Black history that's not taught in the school system that teachers could actually, whether it's in a book or just mention it, like, yo, this happened in 1920. Like, I didn't hear that throughout school. Like, why weren't we taught about Black Wall Street? So
and that is so true. No, go ahead, Cass. No, you on the roll, play, Cass. I'm getting out your way, Cass. Matter of fact, I'm gonna sit down on the carpet and allow you. And allow you to verbally traipse along the red carpet with that sun cascading off your skin. Go, Cass.
I was just gonna say, we're talking about systems, and obviously, like, the educational system is a part of, you know, this American system, and you know, we have a lot of different systems, like the criminal justice system, and a lot of things are wrong in both. And a lot of people don't really, how do I put this? Don't really have. They don't come into this true understanding of like themselves and, you know, how the world is until college. So I think that's real. Like you learn some basic things and, you know, at like grammar school education, you know, and everything to high school. But once you get to college is when you really start, you know, kind of taking that education into your own right. And you learn more about those things. So a lot of even educators, you know, may not know all those, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless you really open a book, right, Amir, like, you may not know all those things. You know how many people really just learned about Black Wall Street and Juneteenth? Right. So it's like a lot of us have been crippled by the, you know, system.
No, that's the thing though. It's like, you know, as a Black person, like I'm sure if I ever get in a situation where I become a teacher, I'm teaching Black history. I don't care what. Like I'm telling Black kids about Black Wall Street. I'm telling them about Assata Shakur. The producers asked who Assata Shakur was. Of course, she was a former member of the Black Panthers, and she was in the 70s. She was charged with the murdering of a white police officer. She said that she didn't do it. She was arrested and she escaped. She escaped from prison in New Jersey, and she moved to Cuba, where she has was granted political asylum by Fidel Castro. So right now she's in Cuba, and she's living her life in Cuba, but. She wrote a book, Assata. I want everyone to definitely check out that book, Assata. It's life changing. But yeah, those things like that aren't really taught. So go ahead, Romeo.
So on Facebook, Nakeem Williams says some of the teachers didn't know. We have 50 and 60-year-olds that don't know our story. Your tongue is your sword. We need some more positive voices, and we have to dig into our own knowledge. They don't want us to know that we are great. And I agree. Right. I do got to make a point to Cass though. I do agree with you that it doesn't get to college, but it's still a quote unquote selective. It's a course. Like technically,
you
if you don't take
a PWI, I went to a HBCU, so there's a huge
difference.
Jesus
That's
Christ!
True.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
True. Yeah.
Hey man, she's throwing haymakers at you this morning.
Hey man, hey
He went through your history and was like,
I'm just saying there's a difference.
I'm just, you know, is it safe to come out now?
Right.
I'm good.
I'm just
I'm
saying
straight.
Are you gonna put yourself on turn your camera off?
He took his camera off.
That's a straight run.
It's not no shade. I'm just saying there's a difference.
No,
And
no,
what you
and there
learn.
is, and there is, and there is. And I think they brought up a good point about the education. If the people don't know, they can't teach it. And of course, I mean, you know, I went through, you know, my educational system was so whitewashed that I left high school and had never heard of the Black Panthers. Never. Not even once. They didn't utter their name. The only thing I knew, I didn't even know who Malcolm X was. The only thing they uttered in my high school, in my elementary to high school, was Martin Luther King Jr., maybe Thurgood Marshall, maybe George Washington Carver, and just a few other, you know, a few other quote unquote safe, that, you know, somebody called it the Santa Clausification of Martin Luther King. That, you know, the sanitized version of Martin Luther King. Because he really was a revolutionary while you're playing. But anyway, I had to learn on my own about what was a Black Panther, who was Huey Newton, what was Stokely Carmichael, and all the rest of the stuff, Marcus Garvey, just going on back to the dynasties that preceded Europe and America. I had to go back and learn that on my own. And so I'm thinking that, you know, like Malcolm X said, if they ain't going to treat you right, they're not going to teach you right. So maybe it's apropos that you go out and learn this on your own or through people like Capone and Noriega and Lack, the hip hop educator, these legends, just like we've had Chuck D on before. And he's having an album with Speech of Arrested Development, you know what I'm saying? And they're coming out with albums that are teaching us. So they be our teachers or we teach ourselves, because if the educational system that is in revolt against itself, because it's asking us to pay for something that we cannot use to uplift our people, then maybe they shouldn't be in the business of teaching us, and that we should learn on our own what it is that is valuable to us, and then patronize when they do teach us. Because one of the things that really hurt John Singleton was that his magnificent movie Rosewood flopped. It was an all-time disaster at the box office, but it was truth. So when we do get presented with the truth, we have to support it. That's my that now I step down from my pulpit. Thank you.
No, I like what you said in relation even to supporting it. It's also too based on our decisions. I know Cassidy called out somebody regarding them choosing to go to a.
Not saying that that's wrong. It's just, you know, highlighting the fact that you still have to take your education to your own hands. I don't shame anybody for getting education. Like,
absolutely. But to the point, so I'm an HBCU grad as well, and Cassidy, both of us. So
Where'd
you
you
know,
go?
that was a part of our
Where'd you
that
go?
was a part of our introduction. Like that was some of our first courses. Like you had to take those classes, which is really important now, even for generations to come. Let's start trying to change that narrative or the mindset of, you know, if we're going to support, let's just not have one day to support Black businesses. You know, let's take this further. And I just want to put a plug out there, Clark Atlanta University, whoop whoop, CAU, HBCU grade, AKA too. Okay, so anyways, I digress. But you know, we really have to start thinking about what our children, our children's children, what they're selecting. They're even talking about this as some of the grads come out of high school, and you know, where are our young Black men going? Are they deciding to now, you know, select HBCUs, you know, instead of PWCs, or, you know, let's move that Black dollar just mentally and not just one day, or it's Blackout Fridays. No, let's change that narrative. Let's do it every single day. And even to the point of like the way that Capone and Lack talked about, you know, them doing a documentary and things like that. It's, you know, I even think about the Madam C.J. Walker, that movie that came out. You know, I knew about Madam C.J. Walker, especially being in beauty, but I didn't know as much that movie. After watching that movie, it resonated with me in different ways, and it was like her struggle was real. And it's important that people don't just learn one way; they learn multiple ways. Some people read it and get it. Some people watch it and get it. You know, or some people do it and get it. But I really like how we are now going beyond just reading a book or just allowing it to stay in the books. They're making it real life. They're bringing it forward and putting it in a movie and documentaries that I absolutely love. And, you know, I know we're talking about Black history makers and history, but let's also move that narrative and start talking about those that are making moves right now as well, like Issa Rae and other, you know, Black writers that are just killing it right now. And they're giving the Black community a basis to say, okay, if I'm a young Black girl and I want to come out with my own hair care line, wow, I can literally look at this movie, watch this lady. She was in a time where it was, you know, so much discrimination where I'm not. So she paved the way for me. It's something to think positively on, you know, in general. So, you know, I think that it's important that we not just, you know, pay homage to those that are in past history, but also current history to keep that narrative of positive thinking and positive thoughts and what we decide, because that's a decision that you make, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, shout
Good.
out to
Positive thoughts of the day. It is the positive thought of the day. Go ahead, King James. Start us off with the positive thought of the day.
Oh, absolutely. I think we've been doing something for so long that we should try a different way. Let's go ahead and follow in the footsteps of Capone and Lack and delve into our history, delve into our culture, and develop a sense of love of self that will take us further than when we have before, because doing the same old thing has not been working. We need to try something different. Let's try us. That's my positive word of the day.
Pass the ball.
Oh, pass it off to Romeo.
My positive thought of the day is personal. If I get into a fight, I'm taking Cass in the city. I'm passing it to Taco.
We got you.
I got you. Oh, you pass it to me or?
Oh, okay. I guess I would say, as we reflected on the past, no matter how hard the past was, we can always begin again and create a new narrative.
Beautiful. Pass the ball.
I pass it to Cassidy.
My positive thought of the day is if you educate yourself via social media, don't just follow, a bunch of junk, follow some people that are putting out, facts, putting out history so that you can get some education on there as well. Amir?
My positive thought of the day is you must learn. When I say that, I say that take time to teach the kids, because the kids aren't being taught in school what they need to know. And that's what it is. If you got kids, beyond the curriculum that they're being taught, get them the books that they need on Assata Shakur, get them the books on Mansa Musa, get them the books on Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, Black Wall Street. There's so many things that we have to learn that's outside of the school curriculum that they won't teach us. So definitely teach your kids about the importance of Black history and where we come from. We're all kings and queens. Let's go, Munson.
I'm gonna pass the ball back to Romeo for a minute so he can come up with something even more positive. He's got a few minutes. He generally goes, rolling out, da-da-da. Come on, Romeo. Where should they go? Check us out at.
Oh, he got stomped on a little bit, so he
No, he did not.
He's in recovery.
First of all, Munson passes to me, and you want something more positive? Here's more positive.
No. I want you to tell everybody why they can go check us out at. You know how
this is what we're
do
doing. I'm still bringing Cassidy, but look, Rolling Out. I need you to go to rollingout.com, Rolling Out Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I need you to subscribe. Not only subscribe, hashtag I am Rolling Out. Send us your photos, send us your comments. We're going to reply to them and we'll rehash them out, because Health IQ, Lunch and Learn, Remix, Reality, Rhythm and Flow. Everything you need to know is right there at rollingout.com. Wind Up Sundays. And don't forget, go to Playful Genius tab on the rollingout.com platform. Tap and order your new book or your new toy for your child during this pandemic. Let's go.
Playful Genius. We thank you. Welcome, Ty. Thanks to everybody cast in the city, First King James, Amir Shaw, and of course, Cast in the City, Romeo International. We are the Wake Up Call at Rolling Out AM. My positive thought of the day is peace and purpose. Make sure that those are the principles that you choose to live with in these days. Find some peace. Don't let the noise drive you outside of yourself, but let the noise drive you inside so that you're talking to somebody that loves you, and that's God. At any rate, I'm Munson Steve. This is Rolling Out the Wake Up Call, Rolling Out AM. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah. See y'all tomorrow. And go fix